Chances are, all I will.
In 1982, this was famous, you told Us magazine, this was the quote, "Homosexuality is a way of life that I've grown accustomed to," and then that statement was retracted.
Being different. It bothered me that it bothered people.
Johnny Mathis is an inspired singer, but throughout his career he's had many messy affairs with male celebrities. From stories about Johnny Mathis and Clifton Webb, despite Clifton acting a straight man in so many of his performances.
I cannot stand these morons any longer. If you don't come with me this instant, I shall run amok.
To reports of Johnny having late-night phone calls with Liberace that can only be judged as romantic.
I love kids, and I think the regret is probably that I didn't have children.
This is the story of Johnny Mathis and his messy gay affairs, at a time when being gay could easily kill your career.
It had to end this way. No reason.
Johnny kept things super low-key when it came to his personal life. He never really let people in on who he was dating or what was going on behind the scenes. Especially back in the day, being open about who you loved could mess up everything, and he knew it. The industry wasn't safe, and being different could cost you your whole career. So he stayed quiet, stuck to the music, and didn't give anyone a reason to stop playing his records. He wasn't the loud, attention-hungry type either. He just wanted to sing love songs, and let that be the story. Fans were obsessed with his voice, and he didn't want to risk losing that connection. He figured his personal life wasn't anyone's business, and honestly, he had a point. The world wasn't kind to people who didn't fit its mold, and he had to look out for himself, and probably for a lot of people around him too. Then, something unexpected happened. Out of nowhere, he dropped a line in an interview that basically confirmed what people had only guessed. It was quiet, but bold. But just as fast as it came out, the magazine took it down like it never happened. No explanation, no follow-up, just silence. It left people scratching their heads, trying to figure out if they'd imagined the whole thing.
In 1982, this was famous, you told Us magazine, this was the quote, "Homosexuality is a way of life that I've grown accustomed to," and then that statement was retracted.
After that interview moment, things got real dark for Johnny. People lost their minds over that tiny glimpse into his truth, and the hate came in fast, including actual threats. It shook him. He wasn't just protecting his career, he was protecting his life. Years passed before he said anything else. Then, one day, he spoke up on national TV, calm as ever, like it was just another Sunday. The world had shifted a little, and it finally felt a bit safer to be real. He didn't make it dramatic or deep. He was just being honest, like it was no big deal. Growing up in San Francisco, surrounded by all kinds of people, none of it ever felt weird to him. Different was normal in his world, and that's how he carried it.
Being different. It bothered me that it bothered people.
And as time moved on, things started to shift. The new generation wasn't tripping over labels. Kids weren't side-eyeing anyone over who they loved. They just cared if the music slapped or not. There were always rumors floating around, whispers at Hollywood parties saying he dated some well-known men. But nothing ever hit the tabloids with receipts. It was all talk, no confirmed stories, and Johnny? He never fed into it. He kept things classy and private, always dodging the spotlight when it came to romance. Still, the rumors never fully disappeared.
I cannot stand these morons any longer. If you don't come with me this instant, I shall run amok.
People used to whisper whenever Clifton Webb's name came up. Clifton Webb was basically the king of late bloomer success. Dude didn't even blow up in movies until he was in his 50s. But once he did, he stayed booked. He started out as a Broadway guy, singing and dancing his way through the 1920s and 30s, and then, bam! Laura hits in 1944, and suddenly everyone's obsessed with this sharp-tongued posh villain type he played. It got him an Oscar nod and launched his whole Hollywood career. After that, he was that guy, playing rich, sarcastic, slightly dramatic characters that just ate every scene. He was in Sitting Pretty as the OG Mr. Belvedere. Yes, the one who babysits a chaotic family. Cheaper by the Dozen, Old School Edition, and the 1953 version of Titanic. Not the Leo and Kate one, but still a big deal back then. And yeah, 3 Oscar nominations. Not too shabby for someone who Hollywood originally thought was too theatrical. So here's the part people love to whisper about. Clifton Webb, never married, lived with his mom forever, and didn't exactly go on public dates with women. And while nobody put him on the record, it was kind of an open secret in the industry that he was gay. Just one of those things everyone knew but didn't dare say in print. He wasn't out, because Hollywood in the 40s? Please. But he was part of that quiet circle of gay men in showbiz who managed to stay powerful, classy, and very in control of their image. So how does Johnny fit into this? Well, in the late 50s and early 60s, word started going around that Johnny and Clifton were very close. Like, not just mentorship close. People in Hollywood whispered that they were romantically involved, or at least had something special going on behind the scenes. But, like everything else in Johnny's personal life, nobody ever got confirmation. No press photos, no scandals, just vibes and a lot of mystery. Clifton was definitely a fan of Johnny, and they were seen together often. Whether it was an actual relationship or just a deep friendship between 2 private, elegant men navigating fame on their own terms, we'll never really know. But it definitely added fuel to the fire when it came to the rumors about Johnny's love life.
I love kids, and I think the regret is probably that I didn't have children.
Then there was Liberace. Liberace wasn't just playing the piano. He turned the whole thing into a glam-filled fever dream. We're talking sequins for days, fur capes dragging behind him, rhinestones blinding everyone in the front row, and that famous piano topped with a literal candelabra. He took classical music, dipped it in glitter, and flipped it into Vegas drama that had grandmas obsessed and critics low-key baffled. But he didn't care. He was busy cashing checks. He started off in the classical lane, but quickly realized mixing pop songs, some campy jokes, and full-on showbiz got way more people in seats. And by the time his TV show blew up, he wasn't just performing, he was running an entire aesthetic. Way before influencers made it a thing, he had the whole persona game on lock. Flashy everything, custom fits, and that signature wink that had fans eating it up. By the time the disco era hit, Liberace was straight up rolling in it. He was doing sold-out shows like it was nothing, not just in Vegas, but all over. Dude had more mansions than most people had shoes, was whipping around in one-of-a-kind cars, and dressed like a chandelier through hands with royalty, and won. Everything he touched looked like it came from a dream sequence. But all that sparkle came with secrets. He was flashy, super femme, always surrounded by young guys. Yet he spent his whole career pretending he wasn't gay. At one point, he even dragged a newspaper to court for hinting at it. And actually won, thanks to some pretty strict laws back then. Still, people never stopped talking. Fans had questions, gossip columns dropped hints, and insiders knew what the public was never supposed to say out loud. Things fully popped off in the 80s when Liberace's longtime on-again, off-again boy, toy/driver, Scott Thorson, took him to court asking for X money. That lawsuit blew up everywhere. Basically confirmed what Liberace still wouldn't say out loud. When he passed, the story they gave was something about a weird diet gone wrong. But everyone found out later it was actually AIDS.
Showbiz stars and adoring fans have been paying tribute to Liberace, Hollywood's king of glitz and glamour. The multimillionaire showman who played to packed houses for nearly half a century died last night in his Californian mansion.
And then there was Johnny Mathis. Quiet, smooth, kept his life on lock, especially anything personal. He and Liberace had a lot in common. Big names, low-key about their love lives, always around the same crowd. They were spotted at the same events, knew the same people, and yeah, rumors were definitely flying that there might have been more going on, but no one ever said anything official. No tell-alls, no drama, no proof. If there was something, it never left the room. Still, two massively famous, super private stars from the same scene with that much overlap? People connected the dots, even if no one ever confirmed a thing.
Teach me tonight.
Another name that popped up a lot was George Maharis. George Maharis had that kind of look where people would just stop and stare. Old school, hot with a little mystery and just enough edge to make it interesting. He came up through the serious theater scene in New York, trained with the best, and brought all that heavy actor energy straight to the screen. His big break came when he played Buzz Murdoch on Route 66, a guy cruising around in a Corvette with his buddy, getting into trouble in a different town every week. The show was a hit, and George instantly became the one everyone was swooning over. For a second, it really felt like he was about to be the next major movie star.
Last night when you looked out of the window, you looked up at the sky and you said, Daniels.
Then, poof, he dipped from the show mid-season. Officially, health problems. But people were talking. Word was he didn't exactly mesh with the producers, and he was tired of being boxed in as just a TV guy. He tried flipping the script, did some movies, dropped a couple of albums, and even popped up on magazine covers that had fans doing double takes. Yeah, he sang too. The music didn't blow up, but his face was pretty much everywhere for a hot minute. And then came the scandal. He got arrested in a public bathroom with another man, and that basically nuked his career. Nobody was shocked. People in the business already had their guesses. But now it was public, and that was career kryptonite back then. He tried to come back from it, but the industry just wasn't having it. The work slowed down, the rumors picked up, and he eventually disappeared from the spotlight. He hinted later that Hollywood's fake moral high ground had a lot to do with why things didn't work out. But he never came out, never did the tell-all, never gave people the full rundown. And then there was Johnny Mathis. Same deal, crazy famous, super private, always keeping things neat and quiet. Naturally, people started connecting dots. They were both heartthrobs, never seen with girlfriends, always floating around the same elite circles. Rumors said they were more than friends in the 60s, but no one ever said it out loud with receipts. There weren't any photos, no exposed texts, just a lot of behind-the-scenes chatter from people who swore they knew. Both of them were navigating fame with one foot on the gas and the other firmly pressing down on their secrets. Whatever actually went down between them stayed locked away. Johnny stayed classy and low-key, like always. George kept his lips sealed and faded out quietly. But if you lined up all the signs, it really wasn't hard to guess why people kept talking. Then there were whispers about the big shots behind the scenes. People said Johnny might have had meetings with powerful Hollywood execs in secret rooms at studios, guys who could make or break a career. Some thought he played it safe and kept close to these big players. Maybe they shared a drink, chatted about business, or even had more private convos. But the thing was, no one ever had real proof. No photos, no letters, nothing to back up the stories. Johnny kept quiet, never dropped any names or confirmed which rumors were true. Instead, he let his music do the talking.
How hopelessly I'm lost. That's
So, one night in Vegas, Johnny was performing at the Riviera Hotel, the place buzzing with lights and slot machine sounds. Out of nowhere, a card dealer named Charles Walsh came up to him, all fired up, accusing Johnny of dissing his wife, Helen, who worked as a cocktail waitress. Johnny was totally thrown off because he knew he hadn't said anything wrong. Before he could even explain, Walsh threw a punch that landed hard. Talk about an unexpected drama in Sin City. Johnny, already dealing with a spinal issue that made him extra prone to injury, was hit with a sharp pain that shot through his body. Freaked out, he raised his hands, trying to get Walsh to stop, but the guy wasn't having it. He punched Johnny again, and it hit hard. Johnny stumbled back, feeling dizzy and seeing stars, the pain totally taking over. After the attack, Walsh just walked off, leaving Johnny standing there in the middle of the noisy hallway, totally stunned and clutching his cheek. At 5 a.m., Johnny, still rattled and freaked out, quietly made his exit from the hotel. He snuck through empty hallways, trying not to draw attention, and slipped out the back door. The cool desert air hit him, but it didn't stop him. He didn't even look back. He grabbed a cab and told the driver to get him to the airport. Johnny needed to get out of there, fast. Once he landed in LA, he checked into a low-key motel to lay low and try to recover. That evening, Johnny made his way to his friend Mrs. Helen Noga's place in Beverly Hills. He showed up at 8 p.m., still shaking from what had happened earlier. Mrs. Noga greeted him with warmth, offering him water and making sure the press didn't get anywhere near him. Johnny told her everything, saying he wasn't looking for a fight or to drag things out legally. He just wanted the mess to be over as fast as possible. Mrs. Noga, giving him a reassuring smile, said they'd hope it would all blow over soon. They sat together as the sun set, and Johnny, finally feeling safe again, started to calm down. Being a star means constantly being subjected to high-stress environments, and if one is not careful, it can really lead to some bad coping mechanisms.
One of entertainment's most legendary singers opens up about his new music and how a place in Maryland helped him to kick addiction, saving his life.
Johnny didn't think it was a big deal at first. Drinking at parties was basically a given in the entertainment world, right? Everyone was doing it, so it seemed normal. A couple drinks here and there to relax and fit in, no problem. But eventually, things took a turn. What started out as just having fun became a habit. Johnny found himself needing that drink to feel okay, and before he knew it, alcohol was messing with his life. He didn't see it coming, but it started showing up in his performances, his health, and his happiness. As time passed, it got worse. Johnny was drinking before shows, sometimes even during them. His friends were worried. Some of his performances flopped because he wasn't in the right state of mind. He knew he was losing control, but stopping? Way harder than he thought. Alcohol had become so ingrained in his day-to-day that he didn't know how to break the cycle. He wasn't proud of it, but the shame and fear of what people would think if they found out kept him stuck. Still, deep down, he wanted out. Johnny was lucky to have some solid friends in his corner. One of them, Nancy Reagan. Yeah, that Nancy, wife of President Ronald Reagan. She was all about telling people to just say no to drugs and alcohol, especially the younger crowd. She genuinely cared about Johnny and saw he was struggling. One day, while they were chatting, Johnny had a drink in hand, and Nancy, being the straight shooter she was, gently told him he might have a problem. At first, Johnny wasn't trying to hear it. No one likes to be told they've got issues, but Johnny respected her. He took a step back, thought it over, and realized maybe she was right.
She sent me to a place called Havre de Grace in Maryland. I was there with a bunch of Jesuit priests. I had 3 weeks of finding out why I drank.
After some reflection, Johnny made the decision to get help. Nancy helped him find a rehab spot called Havre de Grace, all the way over in Maryland.
For more than 30 years, people have been traveling here to Havre de Grace for treatment, tackling their addiction, transforming their lives.
So Johnny checked into this rehab center to get his life back on track. It was all about helping people kick their struggles with alcohol and drugs. He stayed there for 3 weeks, and during that time, he learned a lot. He had talks with doctors, counselors, and other folks who were trying to sort their stuff out too. Turns out, he wasn't the only one going through it. Being able to open up and hear other people's stories made him feel like he wasn't alone and gave him the strength to keep going.
Finding out why I drank, how I could stop, it was the greatest thing that ever happened to me in my life.
Back in the day, Johnny was dealing with a whole different kind of mess. He was performing at the Copacabana in New York when he lost his voice. A friend suggested he see this doc, Max Jacobson, who was known for giving celebs these so-called miracle shots. Johnny gave it a shot, pun intended, and his voice came back, which was a win. What he didn't know? Those shots had some pretty intense stuff like amphetamines in them. They gave him a boost of energy, but they also packed some serious harm along with them. Pretty soon, Johnny couldn't imagine life without those shots. He got hooked. They gave him a quick high, but his body was paying the price. Eventually, he got so sick he ended up in the hospital. That was his wake-up call. He realized he needed to get it together. Johnny learned the hard way that addiction doesn't care who you are and it can grab anyone. But the good news? With the right help, it's possible to kick it and heal. In 2003, Johnny Mathis was seriously recognized when the Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences handed him a Lifetime Achievement Award. This wasn't just any award, it was for his massive influence on music, solidifying his place as one of the greats. A bunch of his classic hits made their way into the Grammy Hall of Fame, too. Chances Are made it in 1998.
Chances are,
followed by Misty in 2002, and It's Not For Me to Say in 2008. These songs are still loved by fans, proving Johnny's music isn't just a passing thing, it's timeless.
It's not for me to say you.
In 2014, Johnny was inducted into the Great American Songbook Hall of Fame alongside legends like Nat King Cole. He also earned a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 1972 and was nominated for an Academy Award in 1978 for his duet with Jane Oliver on The Last Time I Felt Like This. His accolades continued with a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Society of Singers in 2006, induction into the Hit Parade Hall of Fame in 2007, and a Golden Plate Award from the American Academy of Achievement in 2011, presented by General Colin Powell. In 2017, San Francisco State University awarded him an honorary Doctor of Fine Arts degree, honoring his lasting legacy despite not finishing school. Johnny Mathis didn't just sing his voice and contributions made an unforgettable mark on music history.